Welcome back, everybody. Life of an Average Show podcast here. Brandon Navera. By the time you guys watch this, I will be in Florida. Cut my finger, too. See that? If you guys are watching, I will be in Florida at Disney. So I imagine there'll be some footage or something that I'll post. But I'm going to go Ghost Protocol for a while. So that's just the way it is. Here comes my cat. Ready? Cue it. 1, 2, 3. Boom. There he is, walking through the door right now. Anyway, so I'm very excited to go to Florida. Stressed. I'm already preemptively broke, because it's super expensive to go to Disney. But it's going to be an exciting time and a moment that I think Luke will never forget. And even though not everything's going to be perfect and, we can't do everything, it's going to be fun. But and there he is. Hey, welcome, Rusko, to the show. How you doing there? Yeah, buddy. That makes sense. I am excited, though, because when I get back, I'll only have motivation to work and go to the swimming pool. But I also am excited because I have a lot of new podcast stuff coming up, like a new camera or new. I already have the 2 new microphones. I have new headphones I'm going to be using because I have like 3 different headphones. But I'm excited about that. I have some the new streaming platform is officially launching. Well, I'm not streaming, obviously. The new way that I edit these podcasts and record is going to be so much better. I'm so excited about that situation. And it all happens right when I get back. Like, I think that first week. So next week's episode, I believe it is, or the week after. Super excited. So cheers. Yeah, I'm drinking wine, bro, because I don't give up. Hold on, let me take a sip of this. It smells good. This is a Amici Cabernet. Very nice. Oh, God, that was nice. Anyway, so, yeah, that's good. That's good. But I'm here now. And the other thing, too, is I got my light situation fixed. It's a little weird now, but it's because I haven't fully quite, positioned where I want it yet. I'm just excited, man. There's a lot of great stuff happening on the Life of an Average Show. So make sure you guys have tuned in and checked out the Life of an Average Show podcast.com. Make sure that you guys email me at Life of an Average Show podcast bn at gmail.com and follow me on TikTok and all that great stuff. This episode is interesting. You guys have heard me talk about things over the years, friends and obviously people I worked with and family and, I've got my group of friends. We all have our group of people, right? We all have our people that are kind of like loyal ride or die. And that term ride or die gets thrown around probably more often than it should. Let's be real. I'm sure that some of you have called people your ride or dies and they're your ride or die in the moment. You know what I mean? Oh, I just burped. And there's a fly. Like Jabba the Hutt over here. Oh, that's good. Anyway, you have those moments, and those moments could be months. Those moments could be weeks, but you're like, they are my ride or die. And they're really not. Ride or die is a big deal. And it came up because I've had a lot of communication lately with a lot of people. That's been cool. Some people from my past, some people that are currently in my life, and so on. And it's brought up things. And it always amazes me when people throw that out there. Because to me, it means something. I got a buddy in Michigan. You've heard me talk about him a lot. He was in Texas for a while. He's the reason one of the reasons I came to Texas. The main reason is we went on that journey together, and now he's back in Michigan. And he has truly been my ride or die since like 8th grade. We have both bailed each other out of situations. Literally, he's bailed me out of jail. I haven't always been great. I've always respected him and loved him as a person, as a friend, but I haven't always been great in some of my life. So you get distracted, by things and people, or we both go on our paths, you party too much, he drinks too much, you get it, like we both go on journeys. But ultimately, he's always been my ride or die. That is a ride or die. He's my family, and recently he had a tragedy that I still can't think about, to be honest with you. And it was a contemplation. I talked about it for a second on the show. It was a contemplation of if I was going to go back to Michigan to be part of that. The reality was I probably could have made it work, but it was tough, man. It was hard to do. So I didn't. But I threw this out. Give me time, give me date. You don't have to give me a length. All you have to say is, Brandon, I'm coming down to Texas on, God, I guess nobody knows. I'm coming down to Texas on such and such date. I need a ride from the airport. If I can't be there myself, I'm going to have an Uber pick you up. But 99.9999%, I'm going to be there. If I got to take a lunch from work and roll out to the airport, pick you up and drop you off at the crib, I'm going to be there. And I don't need to know when you're leaving. If you're staying a month, you're staying a month. I don't care. Here's the keys. I got to go to work. Luke's coming over. Let's play video games. Let's go to the pool. We got to go out to dinner. Luke's going to bed. You want to sit in the patio and catch up? Let's sit in the patio and catch up. I don't need to know anything. I don't need to know anything. If you call me and you text me, Brandon, I need you to come back to Michigan soon, bro. Okay? Guess what I'm going to start doing? Even though I'm coming back from Disney broke, I'm going to be over there with the 7 dwarfs being like, shh, whatever they were mining for, diamonds or gold, I don't know. Not the new 7 dwarfs. That crap was disgusting, man. The movie's stupid. But the OG 7 dwarfs, I'm there. I'm going to be at Disney collecting money. It's a small world after all. Just collecting. They're going to think I'm an animatronic. It's a small world. And they're going to be making a wish. And I'm going to be like, thank you. Thank you. I'll be there. That's ride or die. That's ride or die, And it's very few people in our lives that we can consider ride or die. And there's different levels. There's different levels of that. And I think you got to respect that. And I think you got to appreciate that. I've got people, and this is not a moment. This is just a reality. I have people that I could call, I could text, I could have somebody call and say, I need you here to take care of something. I haven't talked to these people in years because they're not the type of people that you just talk to on a regular basis. That would fly to Texas, no questions asked, meet me, let me tell them the situation. They'd handle the situation and be there for me, and they fly back home. And it could be years. And the reason that those ride or die people still exist in my life is because I'm 46. And throughout my years, I've hung out with a lot of people. I've done a lot of things. But I have made certain people loyal. I've shown my loyalty to those people. They've shown their loyalty to me. We've just grown apart. We've gone 2 separate ways. And we don't need to talk. And we don't need to communicate. And they're aware of that. They know that. They know that the path that they're on is not my path. But that if I needed something, it wouldn't be using them. They would just be there because we have that respect for each other. And I always just say, man, I got people that for a pack of cigarettes will fly down here and whoop the crap out of somebody and fly back home. I'm not bragging. That's just true. We have those people. There are people right now, and I'm not name dropping, but there are people right now I could be like, let me shoot a text. Been 5, 10, 15, 20 years. I ain't talked to these people. What do you need? Where you at? Done. That's a ride or die. That's a different ride or die. It takes a lot to form a ride or die. You just don't become that person. You just don't. Sometimes you find out later in life who they are. You realize, oh man, that was one of the good ones. And sometimes your feelings get like kind of brought up, and they get like you check yourself on your feelings. You check yourself in like, I'm in a situation, or maybe you just reconnect with somebody and they're in a situation, and you start talking and you realize it's almost like, yeah, you can forget that 8 years, 9 years, 10 years has gone by since you've even seen them face to face. And maybe 10 years has gone by since you've even talked, because now you guys are talking and it's literally pick it up. It's like somebody unpaused the movie after all this time. It's like you accidentally leave the water running in the bathtub and you're like, oh God, and it's been all day. I'm not saying I've ever done that. I'm just talking. Okay? I'm not saying I haven't left the oven on either for like 12 hours. Luckily, it was low. This is really good. You guys want to smell it? And it's weird because there's also people I run into. There's also people that have been part of my life for a long period of time that I considered like, this is the crew. And they don't reach out anymore. And if they do, it's every now and then. And you try to connect. And it feels weird. You're like kind of texting like, yeah, I do. And you didn't have a falling out. You didn't have like a battle. You didn't have a moment. You just kind of separated. And these are people that should be easy to kind of pick up where you left off. Much easier than somebody you haven't talked to in 10 years. But you realize that chemistry, that moment, that history, the layers, the emotional connection isn't there. So those ride or dies were really just a season of friendship, and that's fine. It serves its purpose, But going back and you haven't talked to somebody in 10 years and all of a sudden you guys are like picking up where you left off. I think that's something special. And you may just be there for a season. I'm talking to somebody right now, a friend of mine. Definitely we have gone through some stuff together. A long time ago. We have seen some of our friends pass. We have, been there through bad relationships. We've been there on drunken nights or bad trips in a barn. That's a different story. Thought the horses were climbing a ladder, but that's a different podcast. And we've been there. I mean, we've been there where this person has been at an all-time low, just divulging and just letting out everything, and you're like, wow. So the history is there, but you haven't talked in forever, and then you start talking, and you're like, huh, we're back. That's when somebody imprints on you in a very positive way. That's when somebody imprints on you in a way that like no others can, And there's a lot of people in my life that I got love for, that they're still here, Maybe those conversations or those memories pop up, or maybe you're just, you connect, or maybe you go back home and, I go to the bar and it's like, boom, bam, there we are, By the way, let's give a shout out. Kendrick Lamar and Tupac both celebrated birthdays this week, a day apart. I feel like I could do a whole episode on that, on Kendrick and Tupac and the similarities and the birthdays. And anyway, happy birthday. K-Dog, selling out arenas in Toronto. Freaking Drake. Anyway, but I've got people that I still have love for. And we don't talk, but there doesn't mean, just because you don't talk doesn't mean you lose that love for them. You lose that special place when the memories come up, or, or the phone call, or not the phone calls, or maybe you're telling a story and you're like, man, because I've sat on the patio, I've sat on the patio talking with friends about things, and then all of a sudden one thing leads into another, and you're digging way back in the archives, pulling the story out, and you're like, you sit there while they're talking and you might be listening, but you really just live in the moment that you remembered from 15, 20, 30 years ago, which is why it's so crucial that high school is so crucial. People do not realize how important high school is and the memories and what you develop during that time. They don't realize it. Mostly because the schools like to silence people and kill their creativity and all that. But yeah, it's very important because you're my age now, and those ride or dies disappear pretty quick. Life happens. I don't hold anybody accountable or hold them into a, for life happening. You get married, you have a baby, you get a divorce, you move, like whatever that may be, like the responsibilities get heavy the older you get. Your time goes by quickly, no matter what. And yet, that's when you really savor the moments. Because when you're in high school and you're going to parties and you're dating your girlfriend and you're going to football games and you're staying up all night in the basement playing video games and, you're doing all that, you're thinking those moments never stop. You're thinking those moments are always there. And you get your first place, your first apartment, and you're paying rent, and you got people coming over all the time, and you think that doesn't end. But then all of a sudden your job becomes a little more serious, or your bills, you gain another bill, or you get in a relationship with your girlfriend and you're not seeing your friends as much, and you think you can just pick it up anytime. Next thing you know, 10 years go by. 15 years goes by. And those people did the same thing you did. So now their time is even less, or if you even have contact with them. It's not a depressing thing. It's just a reality. It doesn't mean that some of those people are still not your ride or dies. They just can't be there. They can't ride. They can't ride 24. They can't. If I told you guys how often my phone, text messages don't come across my phone from friends in a week, it's not saying I don't get text messages, guys. You should see how many stupid text messages I get. 90% are work, if not more. It's just ridiculous. It doesn't matter if I'm there or not. I got to do a better job of ignoring, which is why when I go on vacation, I don't care. If the place burns down, let it burn. I shouldn't feel guilty about going on vacation, I set up the team for success. If they don't succeed, then I'll deal with it when I get back. In the end, it's just beer and wine. I'm not performing heart surgery. If they don't like something that happened, or my boss's boss and boss or whatever doesn't like what happened while I was gone, well, I don't know what to tell you. I knew I was going on vacation. Deuce. I'm not allowed. I promise you I'm one of the only managers that doesn't go on vacation nearly as much as all the others, who just seem to never be there. So there's that. But you know what I'm saying? Like, my phone, people don't text. A lot. They don't. I'm not mad at my ride or dies who don't check in on me on a reg. My buddy in Michigan texting me lately. But otherwise, we can go weeks, months without texting. But I guarantee if I knocked on his door, he's like, "What up, dude? Let's go." That's a friendship that's hard to find, I got a friend from school that I've been talking to back and forth. We do these little. I do it a lot though, guys. I'm a phone guy. I'd rather talk on the phone, but I can't just pick up the phone all the time. That's a generational thing, I'm sure. There are people that have cell phones that never use their phone. They just text. You might as well just get an iPad and carry it around. But that's me. I'm 1978. Gen X. But I got a friend from back home, similar age, within like a year or something. And we do these voices. But I used to voice a lot of people. We used to have that group voice text with a lot of people from back in the day, And now I just have the one. And me and my buddy Nick Luck do it all the time. He just left me like 5 voice messages that I listen to, through voice text. Just listen, you know. It's cool. And we'll still text every now and then, but excuse me, he's my, I like that. And so, my friend do this. It started off, I don't even know how it started off. Maybe I was driving or whatevs, but it's cool because, I feel connected to her, because I think she's cool. I've always thought she was cool. This is not one of those situations, okay? Let's just be real, okay? Boom. Let's put a pin in that, okay? It's not that situation. But she's cool as shit. Oh, sorry, I swore. She's cool, man. And always has been. Always been one of those people. I'm like, dude, nothing bad to say at all. So the fact that we can reconnect and this, I'm in. But as far as just texting, nah, I don't get it very much. That's okay. I got friends that I work with my work, that are friends. I'm not saying anything. I don't consider them not friends. If I wasn't at the job, 85% of them would never reach out to me. That's life. That's not bad. It's just the way it is. I got family that don't text, that don't say a word ever. That's cool. I get it. I moved. I'm out of state. It's fine. I do have family. I do have cousins. There's some really great ones out there. Shout out to Julie, I love her. She sent Luke some drawing stuff. Now Luke's like, dude, I'm working on this for Christmas. I'm working on this comic book. So when I go back to Michigan, I can show my cousin. He met her when he was this big, It's cool. But I got a lot of family that don't text. Now, I'm not going to play that game of, well, you could do this too and you could do that. I don't play that game. Because I don't sit there and keep tabs and scores of who sends me a text and who reaches out and who doesn't. I don't send it. I don't play that game. If you feel it in your heart to reach out and connect, I'm not hard to find. You don't want to do it. That's your blood. You don't think that's important. Okay, that's cool. I don't have to do it either. Because I don't care. I wish you the best. Sucks that you're missing out on my son's life. Those aren't ride or die. Family doesn't have to be ride or die. Just because they're blood doesn't mean you can't write them off. I'm not talking bad about my family. I'm just saying, guys, I think we have this thing in our head that just because they're family, you got to sit there and you got to keep making excuses and keep doing this and keep doing this. And that's not the way I do it. They're not ride or die. Maybe at one point, but maybe not anymore. Not when I got people that aren't blood, that I have known less time than my family, and I'll call them right now and they'll be here. If I call and they don't answer, that phone's ringing in less than a minute. By the time I get up and I make that phone call and hang up and go to sit on the couch, that phone's ringing. Unless they're asleep or sick or in the hospital or dead. Okay. And I believe that I am ride or die for some people. I got your back. I don't have to talk to you every day to get your back. And that's something that people don't understand. I was talking to this friend. She's going through some stuff. Not the same friend, different friend. She's going through some stuff, man. She brought up some stuff from the past, way past. And it was, it's complicated. It's not really complicated. It's the past. I don't know how much more I can speak about it. But she did call me ride or die. And she's right. Because when I think about people in my life that I've encountered that I would do anything for if I could. Yeah, she falls in that category. You know, I give her grace because she's going through stuff. So we'll text, and then maybe it'll be a day or two she doesn't reach out. That's fine. I don't need you right away. I'm just letting you know I'm here. I was talking to this girl that I'm whatever with, and I don't know what the term is. Everybody's like, "You're dating her, dude." Okay, well, maybe. She's like, "What the?" And I was talking to her, and she was talking to me about her friend. Her friend lives overseas. They see each other maybe twice a year, usually for like almost like a month at a time. So that's cool. But they talk beyond social media, and there's a big time difference. But she's known her since she was like 12. I was like, "Oh, I should ride or die." She's like, "Yeah, I think so, man." Because it's not that they've gone through like major things together, but they've been there for each other. And she knows, like, despite time difference, if she wants to talk, they're going to find that time. Might be 3 a.m. our time or whatever, but they're going to find that. That's ride or die, man. But I think that it's a losing thing. I think that the ride or die terminology and that type of friendship is disappearing. Maybe I'm wrong. And maybe it is because I am 46, going to be 47, and I don't want to talk about it, guys. Maybe it's because social media has made it its own world of friendship. I have a ton of friends on social media, and I'm not talking about like, oh my God, I got 1.2 million followers. I got 5,000 likes. No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about people in the community that I talk to. Look, I met my buddy Paul over in Ireland, who, by the way, my parents have met him in person before I have, which is hilarious and awesome. That's back in 2020. Get out of here, fly. That's Mr. Miyagi, that guy. Yeah, 2020. It was COVID, so maybe into 2020. Talking to him. And I check in with him. He just sent me some wine today. I got to listen to his message. I sent him a wine from the other night. I care about him. I know what's going on. If I go to Ireland and he ever comes to Texas, guess what? We're hanging out. It's the same thing with Nick Luck, man. I've never hung out with Nick. Ever. But I've talked to him about some serious stuff about his life, his family, his kids, his business. He's come on my podcast. He knows a lot about me. He knew some of my struggles I was having with my job for a while. Never met him. But once I do, ain't nothing changed. Like, it's just, we're the same. Social media has made it that way to where you probably communicate more on social media with people you don't know than the people you do know, just because the way the world is. I mean, I see that a lot, and I'm wondering if that has an effect on real friendships. And I've lost some people. My buddy died in Afghanistan. He was a go-to. That girl I talked about on Memorial Day who killed herself, she was one of those people. Those people aren't replaceable. They're not. Nobody will ever replace them. Nobody will ever take their spot in my memories or heart or anything like that. But those were the people that now, 100, man. I'll call them up. Where are we going? Hey, man, you coming to Texas? Sure, you need me there? When? Can you come like next week? Yeah, I'll be there. Hey, I was only going to go to Michigan for a couple days. Let me add 2 more days so we can vibe. And now I go to Michigan. I know a ton of people in Michigan still, man. And if I run into them in a bar, we're going to have a blast. If I run into a brewery, we're going to have a blast. I'm only going to reach out to like 3. It's no offense to anybody in Michigan. It's no offense to everybody there. I love you guys, but my time is limited. I'm going to reach out to 3. If y'all make it, great. If you don't, I'll see you next time. It's just the way it is. I would have never thought of flying in incognito to Michigan, hanging out and dipping out. I've done those trips where Luke and I have gone to Michigan. We've hung out, did our thing. I don't even post on social. I don't tell anybody I'm going. Boom, 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 in and out. You know, Black Hawk down. Freaking, SEAL Team 6 style. Remember when George Bush, flew and landed this secret mission in, Afghanistan? So nobody knew, to talk to the troops, and flew out. That's like that. Like me flying in, Mission Impossible, Tom Cruise in it. Then I post all my pictures. Like, bro, were you here? Oh, sorry, I was there for a couple of days. Because I didn't want to hang out with there's a bunch of people that want to see me for social media pictures. Hey, Brandon, we used to go to high school together. Hey, man, let's drink like we did back in the day. I don't care. But there's a handful of people that I don't even mean that as disrespect. I'm going to see the 3, and we're going to call it a day. Luke and I are going to Chicago next summer. I'm going to reach out to my people. Let him experience the Chicago with my people. I haven't seen these people in years. Guarantee you the ones that are still around, R.I.P. Paulie, they're going to embrace Luke, and he's going to have a blast. He's going to eat Chicago dogs, talk a lot of trash. We're going to, he's going to love it. Those are the type of people. That's like family. That's like an extended family. You know what I mean? Yeah, do they fit in that ride or die category? Sure, but you take it off the shelf, slide it over. That's like a family. But I really think that right now in our lives, we need to do a count on the people that are considering those ride or dies. And make sure that we keep that status elevated because it's important. And because you just never know when you're going to need them, and you just never know when that could be the last time you speak to one of them, and you don't get to replace that. I'd call anybody up. If I wasn't going out of town, I'd call anybody up and go, hey, next week, let's all go do happy hour. And I'd probably get 30, 40, 50 people there. And I'm not saying they're bad people, and I'm not saying they're not my friends, but they're just going to want to know when the next party is. That's not ride or die. That's just hang out. So yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting when you look at it that way. For me, I think so. But I'm going to leave, guys, because I'm tired, and I need to finish this wine. I've got to watch this documentary I'm watching. It's on Tupac. It's on Peacock. I'm sure you'll see the review of it. I'm going to post it. It's been on my list forever, but I've seen a lot of Tupac stuff, so I'm very, not sure how I'm going to feel about this, but I'm going to watch it, check it out. I'll be back next week. Life of an Average Joe podcast. We got Nick Luck coming back. Nick Luck, we're going to do a Superman podcast coming up because we got the Superman movie coming out. I already got my tickets. We got part 1 of the Fantastic Four out right now. Part 2 will be post-movie. Part 2 of Superman will be post-movie. We're going to talk about some stuff, though, coming up, and I'm excited for everything new that's coming to the Life of an Average Joe podcast. So thank you guys so much. Have a good one, and I will see you when I see you.